Today's podcast is brought to you by Visa, with the capacity to process over 65,000 transaction messages every second. Visa's been bringing innovations to the way we pay for over 60 years. Imagine a world where, instead of just tapping to pay with your Visa, you had to wait for everyone in front of you to cut a check everywhere you went. Imagine how much fun it'd be trying to track down your cousin in Milwaukee for league dues. That's why Visa's vision is to be the best way to pay and be paid everywhere, so you won't have to. Whatever your goals are, Visa makes paying fast and easy. The only thing left to figure out is, where would you like to be? Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
I'm Marcellus Wiley, and welcome to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Whitlock is off, but we got LeVar Arrington, Eric Dickerson, and TJ Hushmanzada here today. Had some huge NFL news last night, so let's start in Denver, where the Chiefs beat up the Broncos, but all anyone cares about is what happened to Patrick Mahomes, who dislocated his kneecap on a quarterback sneak in the second quarter. Reportedly, MRI confirmed that Mahomes did no further damage to his knee, and Kansas City expects him to return later this season. And while Matt Moore was actually pretty good filling in, we all know Mahomes can't be replaced. Question is, can the Chiefs survive without him, LeVar Arrington?
It's a great question, Marcellus.
Thank you. I wrote it.
Hey, and that's probably why it's as good as it is. You know what I mean?
And short.
It's going to be different here today. Let y'all know right now. It's going to be different here today.
They can survive without Mahomes right now. And listening to what Mr. Cowherd had to say, I'm in agreement with that, all right? A backup quarterback, whether dependent on the starter as much as this Kansas City Chiefs team is on Patrick, still should be able to get them at least 2 games as a backup. And so if you get a bye week in week 12, you're playing 4 games, that gives you 5 weeks. If you can finish out at a 500 pace, I feel like that's a win. So I'd say yes.
And that's why I'm glad you highlighted the bye week, because that's the extra week that you need that really changes your mindset in terms of how you're going to play this injury out. The prognosis changes because of that extra week. So if you look at the schedule, it's like almost the scheduling gods are in their favor. Next 4 games, what do they have? The Packers, the Vikings, Titans, and Chargers in Mexico.
They could get 2 of those.
They could get 2 of those. I'm thinking a split right there, 3-1. You are loving life, but you can't rush this guy back with a 3-week prognosis to play him in Mexico with that field. And we already know the injury concerns that they had last year. So this is an injury that I think he'll return full strength post-bye week.
For me, it's not so much can they survive without him. It's what will the Raiders do while he's out for me. If the Raiders play well, for sure, Kansas City at best is going to go 2-2, at best with him not playing. I could see them losing to the Titans. The Chargers is a divisional game. They're going to be ready to play depending on how their season is. And so Matt Moore doesn't have an arm to really stretch the field and threaten defenses like Patrick Mahomes does. And so the field's going to get condensed with Mahomes not there. Can they survive? If the Raiders play well, the Chiefs won't survive this because they're losing to the Packers. They're losing to the Vikings. They might lose to the Titans. And so that's a tough stretch.
I totally agree.
I saw it in your face. I knew
you know it. Man, first of all, Kansas City can't run the football. They cannot run the football. I mean, you saw in the last couple of weeks, they've become dependent on Patrick Mahomes. The play action is not even play action anymore. They already know, hey, look, this is a throw. They're not running the football. They got 3 running backs. They've got Shady McCoy, they've got Darren Williams, and Darrell Williams. So which one runs? Just like the last night on that quarterback sneak. It's 2nd and 1. You can't get it. It's 3rd and 1. You can't get it. Now I got to go to my quarterback to run a quarterback sneak, and he gets hurt. And the big thing is Chad Henning Matt Moore is not even the backup. Chad Henning is the backup.
Yeah.
The real backup is out. So,
right.
How are you going to win these football games? You're talking about going to beat the Packers, who they lost one loss. You're going to beat the Vikings. You might beat Tennessee.
But Tennessee going to run the ball.
I said, exactly. And they can't stop the run.
They can't stop the run.
And they're going to a new quarterback in Tennessee that was scoreless last game.
But by that time, he would have already he got some games under his belt.
Right.
And Tennessee is stout on defense. That's going to be problematic for Kansas City.
But you do have to give Andy Reid some credit in knowing how to use his personnel. They'll figure out ways to screen, misdirect, get the ball to McCoy in space. Sometimes running isn't particularly handing the ball off. It could be a toss, a flare that's a little bit further away from the line, or again, maybe convincing the defense that you're trying to do something a little different.
What about Mike Pettin, defensive coordinator for the Packers? Mike Zimmer,
Yep.
Mike Vrabel. You don't think those guys that they're going to be playing know this as well? Like, they can coach also.
They still have weapons, though.
Yeah, but
they still have weapons on this team.
We can't forget to highlight Andy Reid and his greatness, what he does with not only the quarterbacks that we see, but the backup quarterbacks that are thrust into those situations. Let's go back to when Donovan McNabb got hurt.
Jeff Garcia.
Damn near was an MVP, it felt like that year, Jeff Garcia. And then let's talk about the NFL MVP this year.
Jeff Garcia was playing.
Okay, hold on.
No, this was late, Jeff Garcia.
But still, he was still playing. He was still a player.
But who was Patrick Mahomes? He was a backup. His first year into the last game. And then he becomes the NFL MVP in his first year as a full-time starter. That's, once again, a testimony to Andy Reid's greatness of preparing the guy who's next. Say what you want about Matt Moore. Last night, he looked more than serviceable.
What about Detmer?
Okay.
Throw Detmer in there if you don't want to use Garcia.
Tyler Coy.
When you think about
whichever one he had.
When you think about Patrick Mahomes, no one was even sure about Patrick Mahomes.
Thank you.
Andy Reid wanted him. He moved up to get him, and he got what he wanted. Now he doesn't have him, and now what do? I still think that they're gonna struggle. I mean, when you can't run the football, they rely on the pass. I mean, they didn't. I think Tyreek Hill got one catch. One catch last night?
It was a touchdown.
Yeah, but
he didn't have a target until the third quarter.
That's what there were no targets. I mean,
but no, don't do this, because we saw when Drew Brees went down and the Rams ran over that team in shell shock. But then Teddy Bridgewater said, you know what? I understand what I'm prepared for.
But Teddy Bridgewater was a high-level starter.
Quarterback.
I'm not done. There's a Matt Castle in New England when Tom Brady went down week 1.
That's the Patriots.
That was not a high-level starter.
Not a high-level starter.
And they went out there and won another game.
That's the Patriots.
Let's not act like you can't be ready for these moments as a backup, as I was a backup, ready for that moment when Bruce Smith was gone. TJ, you could talk about your story.
I was a backup, yeah.
I was a backup.
But we got to understand.
I was a backup in college.
It's what ED just said, though. Chad Henne's the back. Matt Moore was a scout for the Dolphins. Matt Moore was volunteering at Hart High School. Like, he wasn't in camp.
But there's a reason why he has the uniform on. There's a reason why Andy Reid has him
Not discrediting Matt. Kansas City is good because Mahomes, you have to really guard the entire field. They got these speed receivers. You got to guard the entire field because Mahomes has that arm where he can threaten you at any moment. Matt Moore doesn't have that. So the field will be condensed. The defense will play a little tighter now.
Well, look, Eric, you were a backup in college, but a highly paid one at that, so let's just respect that. Well, let's move on with the Broncos. They might be the only team with bigger problems than the Chiefs today. Denver was terrible on both sides of the ball last night, giving up 30 points, while Joe Flacco and the offense were downright embarrassing. Just ask our buddy, Troy Aikman. Listen to this.
Joe Flacco, he's got to be the leader. I mean, he's been around, a Super Bowl winner. He's in his 12th year. I don't want to be too hard on Joe, but, let's get a little life out here. So this is about as bad an offense as I've seen. I'm shocked there's as many people still here at the game.
Things have been bad for John Elway's squad since winning the Super Bowl back in 2015. Running through 3 head coaches and 5 different starting quarterbacks with a sub-500 record and 0 playoff appearances. So the question is, will this be Elway's last year in Denver?
No, he's bulletproof. And he's even bulletproof and immune to losing in Denver. And listen, I know that we live in a society where it's symptomatic of what have you done for me lately, but there's some people that exceed their exceptions to the rule, and I certainly look at John Elway as being one of those guys. He does have a little bit of goodwill. He's not that far removed from the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning and having Coach Fox. At the least, I would give him at least one more quarterback, one more coach before he has to have that conversation with himself as to will he release the team.
And that's why I think there's a tug of war going on internally right now. One, you're competitive. You're John Elway. You are a Super Bowl champion. You are great at everything you've done, including business, as he runs a lot of the business affairs in Denver. But then the other side of the rope is, do I really need this? This is not my team. I'm not the team owner. I'm a team president. And Phil Jackson pops to mind when Phil Jackson, the all-time greatest coach by a wide margin probably, all of a sudden starts to take hits to his cachet, to his resume, because he's out of his lane. And no matter how great you are in this role, Phil Jackson, John Elway as a president, it's out of your control. You draft someone because you believe in them. Man, he didn't pan out. You put together a team and you say they look like they're ready, and it doesn't work out. And that's landing right on your lap. So Teflon or not, if I'm John Elway, I'm never going to get fired, but I could walk away, and this could be the year.
John Elway is an icon in Denver, and so could this be his final season? If he wants it to be, he won't be fired just because of the iconic things he's done in Denver. He's won a Super Bowl. Now, he won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. That's
2 Super Bowls.
That's tough. That's hard not to do, is to win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning in that defense. If you look at Denver, they've been really good on defense since John Elway's been there. Where they faltered at is offensively. He can't get the right pieces. He can't find the right quarterback. He can't hire the right coaches. And so if he wants this to be his last season, he'll step down. I don't see that happening. But another head coach, to me, this should be a Vic Fangio or bust for me.
I'll give you an example. They had an autograph signing session in Denver. And Michael Jordan was there, the great Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was there, and John Elway was there, and other players. Now, you would think Michael Jordan goes everywhere. The line is out the door. Now, in Denver, who you think line is out the door?
John Elway.
John Elway's line is out the door. John Elway. Look, I agree with everyone here. John Elway is going to leave when John Elway wants to leave. I think the only thing that John hasn't been able to find is that quarterback. He drafted Paxton Lynch. That was a bust. Trevor Siemian, that was a bust. Got Joe Flacco here. I never was a big Joe Flacco fan. Joe Flacco. I mean, you got Brock Osweiler, which he didn't want to pay Brock Osweiler. That was a good call. He did bring him back, but that didn't work out. But I think John leaves when John wants to go. I mean, John hey, I don't need this anymore. But
Eric, it's a bad sign that you still think that Joe Flacco has some life left, some toothpaste in that tube.
Do I think? I don't think
John Elway did.
I don't think Joe Flacco had. I didn't think he had nothing left.
And he still has 2 more years on his contract.
And defensive Flacco, he was effective. He was effective in Baltimore because he had a great defense.
Of course.
So John Elway's
And a running
thinking,
game.
we bring him to Denver. We have a great defense. We should be able to run the ball. Very similar to what he had in Baltimore. It just hasn't. You look at
TJ, he lost his job to a quarterback who they said couldn't throw. Like how good can Joe Flacco be if that's the guy that just supplanted you?
But look at him now. That guy that can't throw.
Yeah, I'm all in on Lamar Jackson, but this is a roster. There's only one drafted Pro Bowler, Von Miller. Think about it, 53-man roster, and you drafted one guy who's been to the Pro Bowl. That's an indictment on you, John Elway, and you being out of your lane, maybe a little in front of your skis in terms of what can you take on. The evaluation process, you can say he hasn't gotten the quarterback, but he's got the defense right. Has he gotten it collectively together? That's the issue, because that's how you're going to get evaluated in this role.
I think he's lost the continuity of what was there when he had a leader in John Fox. You can't undervalue what John Fox represented to the stability and the culture of that team. More so than a franchise quarterback right now, more so than one Pro Bowler on the team. I think you're looking at a team that is struggling to find that leadership that they need from that coach's position. And until they get that, I mean, you're talking about 3 different coaches, or excuse me, 4. And was it 3? How many is it? In 3 and 4 seasons. That's That's quite a bit of change. And listen, I'm a product
You talk continuity, you can't
get
you don't have any.
Right, you can't get it. I mean, I had, at one point in time, I had more head coaches than I did years in the league. And believe you me, it is very difficult to have success, to create any type of sustainable success when you have that much turn. So I think that he has to, from a perspective of can he get this team back to where it needs to be, it's going to come from finding that right guy to put into that head coach's position.
And get a new left tackle. Y'all watch that game?
Oh, I tell you, see the
man.
I'm like,
it was a hold or a sack.
And who picks all of them? Who picks the coaches? Who picks that left tackle? It's all on John Elway. This is 3 non-playoff seasons, 2 that they're going to have losing seasons, 2 straight, maybe another. So this all lands on his lap. No matter how we want to shape it, it still falls back on a John Elway. Wiley here with LeVar Arrington, Eric Dickerson, and TJ Hushmanzada. Time now for a big story, and let's move to the city of brotherly love, like this table up here, where Carson Wentz isn't getting any love from his brothers, with an anonymous Eagles player taking shots at the quarterback, telling ESPN's Josina Anderson that, quote, even Peyton Manning knew when to check it down. The 3-3 Eagles have underperformed this year, and this isn't the first time Wentz has been called out by anonymous teammates. So the question is this something or nothing?
It's always something when you're 3-3. If they were undefeated, it would be nothing. But at 3-3, and a lot of people still, there's probably that carryover from, do we believe in this guy as much as we did the other guy that was there, Nick Foles? I think it creates a little bit of a fracture. And when you're not performing to the level, that was a tough loss against the Vikings. And to see or to hear the comments and how they feel about what's going on. Josina doesn't just talk to anybody. It's just, y'all be clear on this, all right? If it came from Josina Anderson, that means it came from Marcellus, ED, TJ Hushmanzada. It didn't come from a practice squad guy. So where there's Josina with smoke, there is fire that is sure to follow. There's definitely a situation.
And that's my issue. That's why I want to add another layer to this. This isn't something. This isn't nothing. This is everything. Think about it. This is a Super Bowl championship roster. And even when Carson Wentz was beloved, buying them shotguns for Christmas and saying, I love you guys, but getting injured, but having an MVP campaign season, people were still taking those shots. And now at 3-3, I can't say it's just because you guys are losing and winning on a roller coaster ride. There's something to his personality that doesn't fit in team chemistry. Why do they overperform when Nick Foles is in the mode and then underperform by expectations when Carson Wentz is the quarterback? It's just a big game of Tetris. And as we've all played Tetris, you all want the simple block, the little easy block, the regular shape block, but it's that little S raggedy one that kind of
figure out where to put it.
Where to put it, and it locks everything in.
It can mess up the whole game.
And that's what I'm thinking has happened here. Sometimes at that quarterback position, may I say Kyle Allen to the Carolina Panthers versus a Cam Newton, a little less is more, not only in production so everyone else can do more, but sometimes in personality. Some smoke is going on out there in Philly.
Yeah, when I read we need to make bleep simpler, when I read that, it's somebody that's in that huddle that's a starting guy and at 11 on offense. It's one of the how do they know how difficult it is if you're not in the huddle hearing these play calls and know what's going on? That's number one. It's what you said, Marcellus. It's some about his personality that rubs people the wrong way. But what I don't like about this is, go say something.
Say it.
Like, just be a man, talk to him, or have a team meeting just on the offensive side of the ball. Like, you don't have to put this out there. The season's not going how you would have liked. It's okay. It's 3-3. You guys are 3-3. You still have a chance to get your season back on track. But going out there saying this, he's going to read this. The coach is going to read this. They're going to know it came from somebody. You don't need to do this because your season is still in front of you. Why?
Right.
They're going to know where it came from, too.
Oh, yeah, they are.
they know who said it. One thing is that Carson Wentz is still a young quarterback. He's Doug Peterson's guy. Know that right now. That's why they got rid of Nick Foles. They got rid of him. I mean, because look, right now, if Nick Foles was on that roster, he'd be doing this. He'd be doing this. He don't have to do that. I mean, most definitely as an offensive unit, you want everybody to be on the same page, but it doesn't happen like that. And this sounds like it's probably from a receiver. Like you say, you know when to check down. You know when to check down. So is it something? Yes and no. But the most important thing is know that this is Doug. Doug Peterson made this decision. this is my guy.
You see how they do the receivers, though? It's probably it could be a lineman.
I think it is.
You know how y'all receivers are. I ain't getting the ball over here.
No.
But he said...
I will say this, though. It could have been a lineman because a receiver ain't going to say,
check it down.
Check it down. A receiver going to say, throw me the ball anyway. Throw it better.
How about we have evidence? Remember week 3 when the offensive line sat there, we questioned the effort? To me, this looks like...
Let him get hit.
Let him get hit.
No.
Them shotguns got old.
Come on, now. You know that
Come on, man. That's a three-man rush.
Look at him watching it.
You think the play...
Hold on.
Eric Dickerson, that is a three-man rush.
Like a three-man rush, he's sitting back there forever.
But they standing there.
The whistle and blue, you know, they probably hey.
No, this shows me that it's probably an offensive lineman who will say, look, get the ball out your hands so, one, we don't have to take the sacks, and two, we can keep moving down the field and moving the chains. Let's not forget, in any locker room, when someone gets paid and we're like, the guy who deserved that money didn't get the money, and that guy is gone, and Nick Foles, and this guy got it, we looking like, why that disturbs us so much? It's not because he got overpaid. We love that because I want to get overpaid. It's the fact that we live in a world where our scoreboard has to be our production. I ball, I get paid. You mean Nick Foles balled and didn't get paid? But then Carson balls kind of and is not available and he gets paid? That turns everything upside down for players. So what I'm seeing from this roster more so is disgruntled players and teammates who are starting to take it out on their leader.
I couldn't agree more. And looking at that video is even more indictment on them. I mean, if you think about if somebody tackles you, TJ, and you're under duress like this, and they're just standing there. It's not so much the effort on the block. It's the fact that
they don't even try to help him out.
That's what I was getting at. They're not even rushing to his aid. That's what's that. Look at him. They must look at him. They don't like him. Oh no, that ain't up for debate.
If that's the homie.
They don't like him.
There's teammates, and then there's the homie that's the teammate. So on just a teammate, GP, we running over there to pick you up. But if you're the homie, we really care for you as a teammate, that would never have happened for Nick Foles.
No.
That's so unfortunate because he's gonna be the quarterback. They got to make this work.
There you go.
He's going to be the quarterback. They have to figure out what is the problem. What's the root of the problem? Let's address this. This can't happen anymore because he's not going anywhere.
Wentz is going to have to do that.
Wentz will be on that team longer than any offensive player that's on that team right now.
He done lost them, and once you lost them, how you get him back?
First of all,
he got to get him back.
He's still young. It was his fourth year.
Once you get paid, you old, bro.
No, you know.
Once you get paid like this, your respect goes up there. Even if I don't respect you,
he's still a young quarterback. Even if he's still a young, and he's still a young quarterback. He really is. And like I said, this is Doug Peterson's guy. You might not like him. You might not want to be friends with him.
He's thrust into a leadership position by position and by payment.
He might not be ready for that, though.
But still, he is their guy. I mean, that's why they sent Nick Foles to Jacksonville. He got paid in Jacksonville. What's going on in Jacksonville?
Nothing.
Jalen left. Right.
He on your team now.
He on my team now.
Jalen said peace.
It's a lot of old heads up here talking, but Darnell, did we miss anything?
Yeah, man. So while Wentz is getting called out, the QB he's facing this weekend, Dak Prescott, actually had a message for his teammates. When asked what he told him this week, Dak said, quote, "I always practice hard. More individuals need to do that. Just from the outlook of it, just from my eye, I think they do." So, guys, do you think Dak is calling out his teammates here?
Hell yeah, he is. Look, one, I practice hard. What does that mean? That has to land with a contrast, meaning somebody's not practicing hard. And since you didn't put a name to that or a jersey number, everyone's going to feel like you're talking about them. So there's 52 guys who are now sitting there on the other side of this border, and Dak Prescott's the one who's practicing hard. Not a good shot from you, Dak.
They have looked very lifeless at home, defending the star at home. I look at it like this. He's being a leader. We just talked about Carson Wentz not stepping up and being a leader. I think he's being a leader. And as long as he has the respect that he felt comfortable and confident enough to put it out there in the media, then maybe they'll respond to it because they're not on a good road right now. They're certainly not on a good trajectory right now.
Handle internally,
Listen,
though.
you know what a leader does?
Yeah.
We're not talking about this. A leader doesn't say this to the media. A leader after practice on the field lets the team know, y'all ain't practicing hard enough. Dak Prescott, you a quarterback. You're practicing hard and everybody else practicing hard is a lot different.
Way different.
It's a lot different. But that's not leadership to say something in the media.
Right.
You pull those guys together and say, guys, we 3-3. We ain't practicing hard enough. We shouldn't even be talking about this. That's a leader.
You know, when they were 3-0 and everybody was jumping on the Cowboys bandwagon, they played the Giants, the Redskins in Miami. Oh, everybody's happy. You know how locker room is. When you're 3-0, oh, man, there's some trash on the ground. Oh, that's it. We just having fun in here. Now you're 3-3. That's why we losing. See, you got the trash on the ground. No detail in here. I mean, look, I get what Dak said, and I'm sure as Dak, I mean, I think Dak is a kind of, and I don't know him, I met him, but the kind of leader, a quarterback that the players like. He's got that personality. You like him. And he probably is working hard. And you read what he said. From my eye, I think they do. I think they do. So he's trying to say, I think we do, but I'm just putting it out there so everybody will know this is what we're trying to accomplish.
I like that. See, that's wisdom, because it's context. You're putting it in the proper context. TJ, I feel like you're putting it in more of a divisive approach to it. I don't think when we say calling out, I don't think that it should be interpreted as he's taking shots and he's attacking his teammates. I think he's saying he's trying to rally his guys. I think it's all in perspective.
Yeah, why
through the media? Just say, guys.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, if I ask
but you don't answer every question.
Dak Prescott handles himself very well in interviews. He could have handled himself the right way.
Joe Cena. Say, look, Joe Cena.
Anonymously, I want y'all to know I'm working hard.
Don't lie. Don't lie, Eric. Every one of us has had resentment towards the quarterback in the way that they practice and how they're protected, wearing their red shirts. This is a dude that on vacation talking about, I got to go get my own.
It was kickers for me.
We in training camp one year. We getting ready to go to practice. John Kitna and Carson Palmer, they jogging in from a round of golf.
I know that.
Yeah. So their practice and our practice is different.
Yeah.
And we know that.
And woe is me that on vacation you finally got to get your own drink one time. But that's what it sounds like.
But the thing about this here is, everything you read is not always true. That's not what I mean. Because they wrote it like this doesn't mean it was said like that. All of us know something has been said. I didn't say it like that. I said it like this.
All the time.
I don't know if this is misconstrued, but it shouldn't have been said. And I think that's how it's going to land in the locker room. We're back, so let's move to a huge game in Seattle where Russell Wilson and the Seahawks host Lamar Jackson and the Ravens Sunday. According to Fox Bet, Seattle is 3-point favorites, thanks in large part to the amazing Russell Wilson. Question here is, any chance Lamar outshines Russell this weekend?
No.
You had to think about that?
No, I didn't. I just wanted to take a deep breath before I said it.
Any chance?
There's always a chance.
That's where we're going.
But I'm answering the question to the best of my ability and knowledge, and that's a no. And the reason why I'm saying it's a no is because it's a very difficult environment to go into to play in Seattle, for one. Right. For two, Russell is playing lights out right now. I mean, he's in a zone. His balance of pass and run has he's MVP. He's front running for MVP right now in my book. And then you think about this defense, all right? Now, what I will say is Lamar will have an opportunity to prove that he can throw the ball. You're talking about a defense that's 30th total in D, all right? But their passing D is 23rd, but their run D is 11th, all right? So they're going to be more prone to stop him from running than they are from allowing him to throw it. So if he does have any opportunity, it's going to come in the air.
Defense is ranked 20th, not 30th. Big difference, but I respect what you're saying.
Right,
I love what you're saying.
It is 20th. My bad.
Yeah.
That's a typo.
Yeah. That's a typo because I read it wrong.
That's a write-up. 20.
Hey, that's Dak Prescott over there in Dallas. Y'all need to work harder. I'm going to say this. This is why he has a good chance of outshining Russell. One, he's not playing against Russell Wilson. He played against that defense. That defense, as we said, is below average. Not living up to Seattle's reputation over the years. But it's really their commitment to him being a true dual threat. No other quarterback, except maybe Josh Allen, because he gets like 8 rushing attempts a game, is there a commitment in philosophy, in game plan, and execution to truly threaten them in many facets. So if you think about what you're going to see from Lamar Jackson, you don't know what that is.
You don't know.
And anytime you get any defense on their heels or off balance, that's when you have an opportunity. So I say he has a good chance of outshining them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell. If I asked you, who's the number one offense in the NFL, who would you say?
Kansas City.
You would not say the Baltimore Ravens.
I would not.
And it is the Baltimore Ravens.
I wouldn't
They have
say
the
that.
number one offense in the NFL. Seattle's not very good on defense. Is it hard to play in Seattle? Yeah,
It's
it is.
difficult
It's
to play.
very difficult.
Yeah.
Not like
But
the
when
old
you
days.
go play on the road, what's the easiest way to keep the crowd out the game?
Score.
Run the ball. And so they're going to be able to run the. They have the
Baltimore can
number
run the
one
ball.
offense in the league. They're going to be able to run the ball. Seattle's not very stout defensively. And so can he outshine them? 100% he can. You look at Seattle's victories. They have a good record right now. Escape, field goal kicker from the Bengals, first game of the season in Seattle, missed a kick. Greg Zuerlein with the Rams, missed a kick. They pretty much got dominated by the Cleveland Browns. Baker gave them that game. That's 3 wins that easily
Russell took that
could be
game.
3 losses.
TJ.
Russell took
And-
that game.
TJ.
When you
Russell
turn the
took
ball
that game.
over like Baker Mayfield did, that's not taking a
That's
game.
it.
That's me handing you a plate and say, here, eat.
You still have to convert.
Well, high risk, high
Determinant
reward,
points.
with the Lamar Jackson. And yes, of course, he can outshine Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson, I agree with you. He's playing great. He's playing great. I think when I look at a guy who can possibly be more dangerous, that's Lamar Jackson. He can throw it. He can run it. Like you said, they're the number one offense. I mean, I didn't even know that till you just said it. I mean, Lamar is a quarterback that can do a lot. I mean, and I think in the NFL now, they want you to be that drop back. You know, it looks good that you can drop back. I don't want to run out the pocket too soon. He does what you don't think he's going to do. Well, now they think he's going to do it, not because they know he's going to do it. So for me, most definitely, he has a chance to outshine Russell Wilson in his home right there in Seattle. Because Seattle is not the same defense that we knew years ago. You know, the Legion of Doom. Legion of Boom. They're not the same defense.
The optics are just like when you watch a basketball game. Hey, if you play off on me, I'm about to shoot this J. If you come up on me, I'm driving by you. That's how their philosophy approaches defense when you have Lamar Jackson back there. Oh, you really want to stack against the run? Don't forget he really can throw. And then vice versa. So Pete Carroll even said it in his comments evaluating Lamar Jackson. Gave him high praise, in part because if he has success against him, then he can say, look, we just shut down something that was great.
Sure.
But he knows the dual threat capability that are coming in is second to none. This is not a guy who may run. This is a guy who will run. And it's going to be game plan for him to run to take advantage of the team.
But again, they're still stout against the run. And look, they got Ingram in that backfield. You got Lamar, that's a dual threat quarterback. But will he outshine Russ in this game? No, he will not. Even in a loss, just because they lose doesn't mean that the quarterback will outshine the other quarterback.
Good point.
So I'm looking at what Russ is bringing to the table and the way that he's playing. You can lose a game and not have had as good a game as the other side.
It's W's and L's, wins and losses.
Yeah,
wins and losses.
I agree with you, but I agree with you. It's just about wins and losses. But I do agree with you.
If I'm
putting it on the wins column anyway.
If I'm killing you and you get 150 yards garbage thrown at the end of the game, do you really outshine me?
Well,
really?
I'm not positioning it that way. I think that when you look at what Russ brings to the table, they could have easily won this game. They could possibly have easily won this game when this game plays out, and they did not win the game.
Russell Wilson's an animal. He's going to do what he does.
And that's all I'm saying.
That's for certain. He's going to play. Russell Wilson is playing at a level now that for you to outshine him, you have to be really balling.
Hey,
but Lamar can do it both ways.
And the problem is you have to play mistake-free. Russell Wilson, how many interceptions this year, y'all?
Zero.
Oh, a donut, right? So,
Zero.
In NFL, every coach always tells us more games are lost than
mistakes.
won. You shoot yourself in the foot, self-inflicted wounds before the other team can go out there and take advantage of you. So, Russell Wilson, just by his interception and turnover ratio, is not going to give you many opportunities. So you have to be really efficient when you have the football. Darnell,
Russ.
the old heads are talking. We done.
Russ.
What we missed?
Sir, let's move to Chicago, where the Bears host the Saints in America's Game of the Week Sunday on Fox. Teddy Bridgewater has been one of the best stories of the year, winning 4 straight starts since Drew Brees went down. I want to ask you guys, you think Teddy keeps it rolling this weekend?
Heck yeah, man. This dude, this is going to be the best golden parachute in NFL history because he's playing for a contract that he's not going to fully cash in, because I don't even think Teddy Bridgewater wants to go elsewhere. He wants to ride this till the wheels fall off in terms of Drew Brees, and why not?
Yeah, why not?
So he's making $7 million right now. That's already probably doubled as a backup. Or you go somewhere where it's ill-equipped around you in terms of personnel, and then you're not going to be the same guy. So I think he continues. He's feeling comfortable in his offense. He knows there will be a time when Drew Brees returns, so it's not all on his shoulders. This is a great situation for Teddy.
Absolutely. Football structure. You got a strong defense. Defense is playing lights out. And like you said, there's a comfort. There's a comfort zone that Teddy Bridgewater has found himself in, and this structure is so good. It's so complete with the way the coaches are preparing the game plans for these games. So of course they'll continue to roll this weekend over the Bears.
Yeah, for me, can he continue it? Possibly this weekend. I see the Bears winning just because the Bears have lost some close games lately. Bears defensively are stout. If he loses this game, he still had a great run, 4-1. If Drew Brees does come back after that, he still played very well. He kept them in contention. What were we talking about when Drew Brees got hurt? Is the season lost? Is it over? Is Drew Brees going to be able to come back and save him? He's not going to have to come back and save him. He's going to come back and fit right in. The Bears are stout on defensively. It's hard to play there at this time of the year. Defensively, I see the Bears doing a good job and keeping them off the scoreboard.
It's not that cold there right now. I think this would be just like they played last week when they won with 12-10. New Orleans did. One thing about the Saints is that I think when you look at I think Sean Payton did a very good job of putting Teddy Bridgewater in a spot to succeed. That $7 million, I bet you Andy Reid, I wish I had that $7 million quarterback now to put in the spot. So for sure, I look at the New Orleans Saints as a really good defensive football team. They're really good on defense. If Kamara doesn't play, it makes it a little bit different. Michael Thompson, I think he's going to have a breakout game. I think everybody looks at Chicago. It's all about defense for Chicago because that quarterback that they had, Trubisky, might not even play.
Right.
I'm not.
I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back.
That don't even help. So what?
Does that matter?
So that don't even help.
Right.
Questionable.
I'm going with
today. We'll see. Welcome back. Before we get to Darnell's question of the day, we want to welcome those of you watching us on Caffeine. You can actually chat with Darnell right now on the app, so join the party. Darnell, take it away.
Yeah, let's move to Cleveland, where Browns defensive end Myles Garrett shared a crazy story this week.
Let's see.
Tweeting out, quote,
What'd he do?
a fan hopped out of his car to take a picture with me and then punched me in my face. Put your legs into it. Might have actually made me flinch. Then went on in another tweet saying, was in my car, flagged me down for a picture, and I cracked the window enough for the camera to get my face. Took the pic and gave me a pillow tap. Just so you guys know, they actually found the guy who did this, but no charges have been filed.
Not yet.
So I want to ask you all, do you like Garrett putting this story out there?
I love it. One is unconventional, contrary to public opinion, because I think everyone thinks that fans are just these 9-year-old kids with your jersey on with apple pie in their hands. I like the dark side stories about fans that irritate players, that go too far, that don't turn the switch off themselves when we come out of the stadium and we got on street clothes and they still acting like we got cleats on ready to go to war. So there are too many times this occurs, not just punching you, but just habitual line-stepping fans that I like when stories highlight that they are amongst the group that we have to deal with.
I think it's an interesting story. Do I like it? No, I don't like it, but I can understand why he didn't do what I wanted him to do. He should have beat the brakes off of that dude.
No.
He should.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then take a lawsuit for that?
We live in a day and age where he it's possible the dude could have been packing and legally could have shot him or something like that. And, you got to take those things into consideration.
You better.
But, man, I'm not listen here, man. I'm not tweeting out the fact that a dude came, flagged me down, got the picture, and then popped me in my chin before leaving off. Like, nah, man.
Why do you think it leaves you vulnerable going forward? Why not tweet it out?
I don't know that it's just maybe it's just culturally where I come from that just doesn't add up to me. That's not good. That's not a good equation. If I'm going to tweet out the fact that somebody chin checked me, then I'm a tweet out an aftermath picture of what took place. Like, this is why you cannot sue me, is because this man took a picture. Listen at how ignorant this man was. He flagged me down. I was a good guy.
Yeah.
I take the fan's picture. He chin checks me. Yeah. Here's what happens when you chin check Myles Garrett.
Warning to everyone else.
And he gonna be on the ground.
Right.
And he gonna be. Test me if you want. Test me if you want. I'm just telling you, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I'm confused, honestly. I don't know what to think of it. I know I wouldn't have been able to handle it that way.
We know too. We know TJ is not the one.
But Myles Garrett is probably one. He was raised, whereas he's looking at it like, first off, if you see Myles Garrett, dude, he probably looking at it like, this dude crazy.
Hold on, we got evidence. Everybody out there knows Myles Garrett is bigger than most. Just take a look at. That's the dude that got chin checked.
Bro. So he's thinking to himself, this dude got to be out of his mind to hit me like something ain't right about this guy.
Yeah, good point.
Number one,
good point.
It's what you don't know what somebody is thinking. You don't know what they have.
And that's reality.
What
that's
he
reality.
doesn't have. But
reality.
that to me is very odd and it's confusing. Like, I just don't get that. Like, it's what you said, though. When you walk out that locker room, we play football, but, bro, we human just like you.
We are.
We all have feelings and we bleed. We have emotions just like you do. You treat me the right way, I'm going to treat you the right way. I'm confused by it.
You know what y'all have been reporting? Ass whooping in Cleveland. There you go. And I get the ass whooping. That's what it'd have been. And man, come on. I'll tell you a story. We played the Chicago Bears in 1986 after they won the Super Bowl. And I had a heckler, and he was heckling. I didn't say it. Even the guys like, boy, he show on you. And they would laugh.
What were they saying, though?
Oh, he was saying,
you still had the Jerry curl?
No, the curl was gone. 86, the curl was gone. The curl was gone. The curl was gone. So he heckling me, you know, and I'm like, I throw my hand like, yeah. So finally he said something to get my attention. He said, F Viola. Now that's my mama. Oh, dog. You got me. I'm full fledged. I'm on my way in the stands now to get him. And you should have look on his face like, huh? So they make him leave. I'm like, look, you can talk about me, but don't talk about my mother. My mother got to do with this football. Right. There's certain things you don't do. You don't put your hands on somebody. Now, in this case, I bet if the fan would have tweeted it out, they'd be like, oh, well, yeah, he should have tweeted it out. He should have tweeted it out. You know, he got hit in the face by Myles Garrett. Man, you should sue him. But when it's us, it's different. And we like you said, we're human.
Man, that's
what's interesting
lot of
right now?
restraint to just...
That is.
Right now, a lot of stories are going out in goodwill, good nature stories. Lamar Jackson did this, pulled over on the side of the road, saw some fans who flagged him down, signed some autographs. OBJ did it as well. It's good to let everyone know there's a flip side to this coin in this situation. Because I dare anybody to pull on your ponytail, TJ. It ain't going to end well for them or their family, anybody who knows them. But there is a different world we live in now. Let's be real.
You threw the family in there, Marcellus.
I know TJ too well. Everybody gone. But here's the thing. With cell phone cameras, do you think fans are being more aggressive because they have this recording device and maybe their evidence?
I just think that guy probably in his mind said to himself, if I ever get the opportunity to punch Myles Garrett in the jaw, I'm going to do it. Like, no matter if it's soft, no matter if it's hard.
Do you think
that's how fans think?
Do you think the fan thought that, number one, he was in his car. Allegedly, the fan hopped in his car, that he thought Myles Garrett would chase him down and try to create a scene. So then now I can pull out the phone and say,
he was baiting him.
Why is he doing this to me? I didn't do anything.
I think he felt good about it. Have you ever went to a sports bar for a basketball game, a football game of any kind, especially if it's like more machismo, boxing match, football game? The one thing that always happens, you'll see one fan, and that one fan will come up to you when he sees, oh, Eric Dickerson, oh, it's so great to see you, da-da-da. And then you get about an hour into being at that place and you're watching the fight or you're watching the game, and you know what that dude gets comfortable enough to come up and say to you? You're not that big in person. I bet you I could take you. I hear it every single time I go out. I bet you I could take you, ED.
Yeah.
And then they start like,
And we're supposed to laugh it off. And in our head,
I'm not laughing. I will knock your head off your neck.
Hey, Darnell.
Off your neck.
You're a big guy. You're still out there, younger than us. How you feel about this situation?
The Indianapolis Darnell would have took his head off like LeVar
There you
just
go.
said. But the L.A. Beverly Hills Darnell, I probably would have took a step back and thought about the bigger picture. Because you got to say, that guy was just trying to get attention. So anyway, anything he can do to get attention, he was going to do it. That's why he punched him. So Myles Garrett, I really kudos to him for being able to just think about the full
I
picture.
agree with you in the end. I do agree that he did the responsible thing. But no, I just went and tweeted it out because in my mind, I really would have destroyed that dude, man.
I'll tell you one thing. We are not going out with Darnell no more. He just put a bullseye on his chest. He ain't going to be touching you now. Marcellus Wiley here. Whitlock is off today, but I'm joined by LeVar Arrington, Eric Dickerson, and TJ Houshmandzadeh, who's ready to fight. So let's move to a huge matchup in Dallas where Dak Prescott and the Cowboys
Are they ready for a fight?
host Carson Wentz and the Eagles in the battle for first place in the NFC East Sunday night. Both teams have been disappointing this year at 3-3 with an up-and-down season from Dak, while Carson just got called out by one of his own teammates. When you look at the last few weeks, Dak has thrown for more yards and a higher completion percentage, but Wentz has thrown more touchdowns, fewer picks, and has a much higher passer rating. And Philly's gone 2-1, while Dallas has lost 3 straight. Question here is, who are you more confident in this week, Dak or Wentz?
I'm more confident in Wentz. And I think until this Dallas team shows some fight, some passion, and some execution within the run game, I really look at this Philly team that was competitive, just didn't get the win this past weekend, as a team that can bounce back and get back on the right track. There is a formula out that is being used against the Dallas Cowboys right now. That is stop the run, stop Ezekiel, and make Dak win with his arm. And so far, it has been successful.
I believe in Dak this week. First, he started off this season strong. A lot of people were poking at the opponents that they were playing. Porous defenses. He gets another one this week. 29th ranked pass defense in Philadelphia. We know they have issues in their secondary. 2, they're going to be fully loaded. They're getting Tyron Smith back, Lionel Collins, Mari Cooper, Randall Cobb. You got Gallup there, like a fully loaded team with the mental resolve of Dak. Say what you want about Dak. He's a winner, and he has tremendous resolve. So whenever he's put in a bad position, he comes out playing well, comes out swinging. They were 3-5 last year. I don't think they want to be in that same position again. I see them rebounding.
Dak with a full deck of cards, meaning he has those guys coming back, 100% is Dak Prescott. No question. It's not even, for me, it's not even a question. I'm rolling with Dak. When he has his weapons, you say take away the run game, okay, that pass defense you have, okay, Cooper, you're going to eat. And so when he has his weapons, for me, it's an easy question to answer. It's Dak Prescott.
I'm going with Dak. I don't know if Amari Cooper is going to be 100%. Randall Cobb I think is still a suspect. But I still like they're at home. I think the only team that doesn't care if the Cowboys at home is the Green Bay Packers. They beat them at home. Yeah. But and I think that, the way Zeke played last week in New York, ran the football, I know that, Philly's good against the run, but Dallas can run the football. And I think when I'm thinking about the Cowboys, go back to when Dak and Zeke came in the first year. Go back to that. Do what you do best. Run the football, control the game, and win the football game. Don't be 3-4. Be 4-3.
And tremendous off of play action. That's what established Dak Prescott as a passer, which let them move on from Tony Romo. Was they had Ezekiel Elliott in the tremendous ground game. And then Dak was able to use that to galvanize his career. But then it got out of priority because this is Dak's best year as a passer. When they saw that arm talent this offseason and early in training camp, they realized, maybe we can have a balanced attack. Maybe we can prioritize our passing game with the weapons. Amari Cooper hit the ground running in Dallas. But I think things got out of sorts. So now you need them, 1, to have the defense play up to standard, to expectation, and 2, establish the run again.
I think it's very interesting because if we go back to Block B, there was this topic that Marcellus came up with for the show called Think Dak is Calling Out His Teammates. And it's interesting how we responded to it. Let's keep it out of the media. Let's not, that's not TJ. That ain't being a leader. This, that, and the other.
Here we go.
We are going into a game you cannot discredit nor undervalue what it is when the Philadelphia Eagles play against the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Giants. Those two teams in particular. Sometimes the Redskins, but not right now. More specifically, the Cowboys and the Giants. They're going into a divisional game, and we can throw stats out. You can throw it out the window. This is going to be a smash-mouth game. It's going to be a hard-played game. And you're talking about a guy who called out his teammates to say, look, y'all need to work harder. I'm working hard in practice. Y'all need to work harder. The thing about that is, to me, you're now saying to your team that, listen, we got a big game. You guys are showing me what everybody else is seeing, which is no passion and no real will to protect and defend this arena, this stadium here. I think that that's trouble. I think that that's problematic. And I don't think that you can beat Philly under those circumstances.
So the same way you just said Philly is, you don't think the Cowboys are approaching it the same way? It's a divisional game. We're playing a Philly.
They haven't shown that.
Dude,
you saw
they haven't shown that.
The
Cowboys have the second-ranked offense in the league.
They didn't show that fight last week.
Dak Prescott and that offense, they're getting the job done. They're doing their job. The defense hasn't been as stout as it has in years past, so that's why they're on a 3-game losing streak. But offensively, the offense is getting it done.
To TJ's
They're getting
point,
it done.
They've played 5 head-to-head games, Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott. Dak has the edge, 3-2. But if you really look beyond that,
that last game
was them resting everybody because they were in the playoffs already. So it's 3-1 in meaningful games.
They get up. Divisional game where we playing the Eagles.
No, it's not going to happen.
And you just said earlier, and we just say that the offensive line didn't want to block for Carson Wentz.
That's right. Say it again.
So I mean,
that's good recall.
That's a really good recall.
There's a team that we're not sure about our quarterback, but they're gonna play for him. They're gonna play, but we're not sure about it. We know the Cowboys love Dak Prescott.
Well, let's go to a team that America loves or loves to hate, the Raiders, who head to Green Bay for a showdown with the Packers Sunday. Oakland has rebounded from all the Antonio Brown drama this offseason, and John Gruden actually has people starting to believe in the Silver and Black, who are in pretty good shape at 3-2 behind the Chiefs, who just lost Patrick Mahomes. Question here is, after a rocky start, do you think Gruden has finally figured out things in Oakland?
There's a big learning curve between coaching live games and being a successful analyst, and I think he found out the hard way. It's hard for players to come back and be able to be successful once they've been out for a little bit of time. It's probably even more difficult for a coach to be able to do so because of all of the moving parts that are associated with it. So it does look that it appears that he has closed that learning gap down and has been able to drill down the game plans and the approaches that are conducive to creating a successful environment. Create a successful environment, and success is sure to follow, and that seems to be what we're seeing in Oakland right now.
Yeah, tremendous point. No matter what you engage in, the second lap is just different than the first lap. And I don't care how great you were in your first tenure as a head coach, when you depart that, especially emotionally and in day-to-day involvement, it takes time to come back to that and hit your stride. Then he comes back in the first year. There's so much about your ego. There's so much about the impressions that we get from you in terms of the caricature and you're Chucky and you're this broadcaster. So we don't have a deep respect. It's not a deep buy-in. But then year 2, we have an off season with you again, and we start to realize he's tightening his bolts. We see him. We respect him. We perceive him in a different manner. I think that's what's going on in Oakland. You're seeing some of the draft choices materialize. Josh Jacobs out there balling out of control, who's a draft pick from the Khalil Mack trade. So things are starting to come into play, and it's going to take time, but so far they're off to a great start.
Raiders are playing well, but when you look at it, they beat the Colts. They didn't have T.Y. Hilton, so they're hampered. Jacoby Brissett, it was early in the season. They beat the Bears without Mitchell Trubisky. Even if they have Mitchell Trubisky, the Bears aren't very – they're not going to scare you off it.
Right.
And so they played some teams to where, he's figured it out. He's figured it out type of teams. That's the type of team. It's the NFL. Every team is hard, but he did play some teams to where he can figure it out, so to speak. And so – ask me this in about 5 weeks, has he figured it out? And if they're still playing well, but this is what the Raiders have done well. They've invested in an offensive line. Doesn't matter who you play, where you play. If you good up front, you always have a chance. They don't have the guys outside, at least right now, not the name, but they're running the ball effectively. And if you can run the ball and limit the other team's possessions, you always have a chance.
Well, the Raiders are 3-2. And how many games is it? It's a 16-game season, like you said. Let's see. I like to revisit this in week 14 and see where we at. I still think getting rid of Khalil Mack I still think that's going to haunt that football team. And I look at the players around that on the Raiders team. They still talk about that. You know, like they get rid of Khalil, they get rid of me. You know, I know they're playing good right now, but like you said, they played the Colts. They didn't have T.Y. Hilton. You know, they beat the Bears, not having a starting quarterback. He is the starting quarterback. He gives them a little bit better edge than having a starting quarterback, but the Bears don't scare you offensively. I still feel like these are the Oakland Raiders. I mean, you got to show me something year in and year out. The Raiders have been hit and miss. They had that one season 3 years ago. They were 12-4, made to the playoffs. But
Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, Jack Del Rio. Yeah, since then,
Carr got hurt, so we didn't see how that materialized. So, but here's the thing. This was a house money season. They were given the pass because of their offseason and Antonio Brown and how everything played out, and we really discounted them. So I don't want to wait when I see someone exceed expectations early on because they're going to mature as well as other teams are. So as TJ said, they are viable up front. And when you have those hogs up front, you got a chance to do anything, and that's what I like. And don't forget, there is a Derek Carr MVP caliber player somewhere in Derek Carr. When he plays up to that level with that offensive line, and now in the running game,
he's completing 73% of his passes. That's
How you feel about the Chargers? How y'all feel about San Diego
Don't do that
Chargers?
to me, man. You know,
how you feel about your Chargers?
I feel like they beat up.
I don't want to hear that. Yeah,
all right. You feel good about them? All right. You don't feel good about them. All right. Scratch them off. How about the Kansas City Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes?
Not great.
Not great. Not great. All right.
I think the
Scratch them off.
No, I think the Chargers will beat the Raiders. I'll take the Chargers over the Raiders.
Oh,
we scratched Denver out for sure.
You're scratching Denver out. So if you're keeping Kansas City, or you said keeping San Diego on there, if Oakland gets a Patrick Mahomes-less Kansas City team, and they can beat Denver and get past Kansas City, this Oakland Raiders team is heading towards winning their division.
Calm down. Marcellus Wiley here with LeVar Arrington, Eric Dickerson, and TJ Hushmanzada. Let's move to Jalen Ramsey. Welcome to LA, big dog, who's been all smiles since arriving here in La La to join his new team, the Rams. Head coach Sean McVay anticipates that Ramsey will make his debut with the team Sunday against the Falcons after the All-Pro corner's injured back has suddenly started to feel much better since winning his standoff with the Jaguars. So the question is, do you like how Ramsey forced his way out of Jacksonville?
I'm saying no. And I don't know Jalen Ramsey personally. And I'm looking at it more so from public perception, more so than career-wise. Career-wise, yes, I love the move. I love him being with the Rams and what the possibilities that exist for him in a market like this. But I just look at it from the perspective of he now has to rebuild some of what may have been lost by some of the antics that went into getting out. And you know, from things that I've heard about him, I've heard that he's a solid young man, super bright, very, very well-mannered. And sometimes I think when things like this happen, it kind of erodes or takes away, diminishes maybe what the reputation of the young man would be otherwise very clean. And that would be my only reason for not liking the way that it kind of the Brinks truck deal, all of those different things that I felt may have cast a different type of light. But you're in the biggest market, one of the biggest markets, you get an opportunity to rebuild it.
Yeah, is it the end justifies the means? Not always.
Not always.
I wouldn't have done it this way, but I'm not mad that he did it this way because I think we all pick our spots. I wouldn't have picked my spot in terms of faking an injury to force my way out. I would have played my way out or just waited my way out, but that's me. But I'm also a guy who jaywalks, who runs stop signs. If I see a red light, no car there, I'm out. I cheat at Uno. Like, I pick my ways where I don't want to necessarily play by the rules. And this is the way that he felt that I'm going to get what I want by not playing by the rules. So I'm not judgmental, even though it's not something I would tell my son to do, and certainly I wouldn't have done.
I don't like it. I love it. I mean, if where I'm at, if you not gonna give me what I feel I want and deserve, then I gotta do what I gotta do. And you gotta look at it this way. There's probably 10 to 12 guys in the league that can do this. It's not gonna be a widespread thing in the league because everybody doesn't have the game that he has to do this. I love it. You don't wanna pay me. We have this disagreement, I'm not playing.
But they wanted to pay him, TJ.
This is, if you wanted to pay me, offer me something that I can't turn down, and I'm signing a contract.
That's a different conversation.
This is what I felt Zeke and Melvin Gordon should have did. This is what I felt Le'Veon Bell should have did last year. Don't miss that money. My back hurt. I can't practice. I love it.
Oh, man.
Hey, let me tell you something. First of all,
I'm interested on this one.
they drafted him. He didn't choose to go. They drafted him. He gave them all they want. He played great for them.
He did.
He lived up to his billing. And if you're not going to have a respect factor, if we can't respect one another, then sometimes it's time to move on. Like you said, it's only a few guys can do this kind of move.
Yeah.
When I played, I had did the same thing. Not that you faked it. I'm sure he didn't fake it. He was hurt. I played my last game for the Los Angeles Rams. We played the Cleveland Browns on a Monday night. I had a thigh a thigh bruise that was really hurting me. I said, you know what? I'm already arguing with him. I don't want to play. They say we don't play, we're gonna suspend you. I say, okay, I don't want to start. So I just won't start. I did play. I gave him I gave a 40-yard touchdown on him for him. But I'm like, I'm not playing no more. I'm not gonna hurt myself in case I get traded. And I like it. Don't hurt yourself with them.
A team will cut you. They'll cut you and let you go.
Somebody cut you, then what? Then hey, we're going a different direction.
Right. I side with Jalen Ramsey and you two on this in this respect. Jalen, according to everyone that I've talked to, has said that he was all in with the Jaguars. And then he started to have little nagging injuries, but not missing time, but just like, hey, I'm not feeling the same. I'm going to go back to my old routine, old workout. And that's when Tom Coughlin started to call him out publicly, and that's when things started to turn. So, look, if you're going to start calling me out in my professionalism when I'm all in, obviously you're going to get disgruntled in those situations. But Darnell, anyone win some money? Terry Bradshaw's money last night?
They sure did, man. Congratulations to the Minnesotan who nailed all 6 of Thursday Night's Football Super 6 questions yesterday and walked away with Terry Bradshaw's $25K jackpot.
Let me hold some.
Yes, sir. Before the games kick off on Sunday, download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play for free for a chance to win. The Rams and Falcons are actually one of the matchups this week. I want to ask all you guys, help the fans out. Who's going to win and give me a final score?
I got Rams 22, Falcons 14. Rams win.
Nice. I got Rams as well. I'm going to give them a couple more points, 28-24.
I'm going with the LA Rams, 27-20.
The Rambassadors going with the Rams, 31-21.
Welcome back. Uncle Jimmy is here to help us talk about our approval ratings for John Elway. But first,
You know
who's the big dummy of the day, Uncle Jimmy?
man.
LeVar.
Hey, man, listen, let me tell you something.
You got it.
Any grown-ass man that sit up here and say, I ain't gonna lie, I cheat in Uno. Man, you supposed to get that heat, man.
Put him in the red.
Why, you ain't supposed to cheat?
Man, your son 3 years old and still ain't won a game of Uno.
Messing with his confidence, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk to Patrick Mahomes,
That was
who dislocated his knee in last night's win over the Broncos. The injury comes after Mahomes graced the cover of Madden, sparking a lot of talk about the Madden Curse last night. LeVar.
Yes.
Please answer this. You think the Madden Curse is real?
It's real, man.
Oh, here you go.
It's real. I'm telling you. It's real.
How?
I don't know.
Can you explain it?
No,
You
I
ain't
can't.
never
It's
been on the cover of Madden.
You can't explain phenomenons, people, but it's real.
Why is it real? It's happened like
Uncle
5
Jimmy.
times over the
Tell
last
him.
20 years. How could it be real, Uncle
Only
Jimmy?
2 people of note, Calvin Johnson and Tom Brady. Tell them. Tell them, Unc.
That's the for real.
It's for real. It's for real.
Look, man, damn the man.
You okay, Uncle Jimmy?
Just can somebody talk to me? I know better than y'all. Okay?
Wick gonna get
Look,
hurt.
man, damn the Madden Curse.
What is that, Burger?
It's the Whitlock jinx that bother me.
He gonna
What
get
is
hurt.
that? Link?
That's what bothers me.
What?
The hair.
Listen, man, my entire adultolescent life has been spent dealing with this mess.
What?
Talk
I
about it.
told y'all before. I told you, my nephew is bad luck Schleprock. He's that dude that as soon as he walk in the room, your football team fumbles the ball. He's that dude, if he shows up wearing your team's jersey, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
No, really, it's a wrap. They had to wrap his ass up in it because they don't make jerseys that big.
Oh, wow.
Look, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, my nephew is a jinx. Now, LaVarrington, listen to me. Listen to me good now.
Yes, sir.
Now, you know how our people do.
LaVarrington.
You know, we believe in superstitions and jinxes. You ever swept your grandmama's foot? You ever swept her feet with a broom? No, you ain't. You know why? Because you wouldn't be here today.
Oh.
Because if you did, guess what you had to do after you woke up?
What would happen?
Take that broom over there and let her spit on it to break the curse.
Oh, wow.
Where are you from?
That's deep.
Oh, let me ask you this then. Your mother ever dream about catfish?
No.
That mean you done got one of them little fast girls in the neighborhood pregnant. She ain't never said that to you, Marcellus?
Well,
No, I ain't hear that
now I
one.
know.
You couldn't put a purse on the ground. I know you couldn't put a purse on
You
the ground.
can't put a purse on the ground.
I remember that one. That was real. We still
Let
were
me
broke.
ask you this. Let me ask you this then.
What?
Can you pay a black person to say Candyman 3 times?
No.
I do it right now.
Don't do
You
it.
bet
You got to
not.
be in the mirror, though.
No,
You got to be in the mirror.
You caught that. I was
Hey, look here, hold on. Hey, y'all know we believe in that old nursery rhyme.
What?
Smoke some crack, break your mama's back.
Oh, no.
I ain't heard
I've
that
stayed
one.
away from the
I
crack.
ain't do that one.
Yeah, me either. I love my mama. But look, man, my nephew's curse is the worst of it.
What's this?
Y'all think it's a game.
You think?
Look here, man, if my nephew put your name in his mouth,
You're going to get hurt.
guaranteed it's over.
It's a jinx.
Let me give you some examples. Peep me out.
I'm ready.
LeBron James, last year, ain't never had an injury until my nephew jumped on him. Not literally, because if he did, he'd be dead.
It'd
but
be all
figuratively.
bad. All bad.
Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yeah.
Career's over. Ever since my nephew had a dream to crown him the king of the NFL. Tiger Woods,
The nerve.
rolling along, living his good life. Until one day, my nephew decided he want to start liking golf.
Well, that was a different type of curse for
Yeah, I'm about to say.
And what happened?
He was winning.
Tiger ain't had but one major and one white woman since. I rest my case. Damn the Madden Curse. It's the Whitlock jinx that bothers me.
Oh, man, you stupid.
Whitlock jinx
only one
stinks.
major? And let's get to our approval rating
That's
for
all.
John Elway. You look at me. I got love for him. 25 all-time status, top 2 players ever for me. Him and Eric Dickerson, you got to respect that. Character's high as well, but not as high as yours. And I give him an all-star. So we're in the same category, but you got him a little higher.
I like it. Listen, the reason why I went with high on character is because I've met him. I think he's a super awesome dude.
Yep.
So obviously job performance is down right now, but maybe it could change. But I gave him an all-star rating. I'm proud of Elway.
Yeah, I hope he survives this year.
I
but
approve of it.
Let's see what the Twitterverse thinks. Oh, my God, dumpster fire. They're saying it might be a wrap for
That's
him.
recency effect, man.
Look at that right
Hey,
there.
it is what
Well,
it is.
Whitlock, come back, man. Enjoy Ball State and the homecoming festivities.
If he come
That's
back.
it for us.